Welcome to Rich Keys channel, where we unlock wealth one candle at a time. Here, charts don't lie and neither do we.
Disclaimer, not financial advice. The information provided on this channel is for informational and demonstration purposes only and should not be considered as personalized financial, investment, or trading advice.
Good morning. Welcome back, traders. Today is Sunday, 27th of July, 2025. Time now is about 7:08 a.m. And we are analyzing one of the most important assets on the market, Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin on a higher time frame, since it's almost the end of the month, I like to look at how the monthly is looking. Monthly is still looking bullish, no doubt about that. We recently just went outside the KC band on the monthly, and we do not have a rejection candle on the monthly yet. That suggests to me there is potential for further upside, even if there is a correction. Okay, when I get a monthly reversal candle like I got here, I start looking for a stronger correction. But for now, we could get some pullbacks, because the monthly is not giving us anything. Maybe this month candle may give us a warning signal, but not yet as we speak. So monthly is looking fine in terms of the uptrend being intact. The weekly is still looking good. Okay, I'll tell you what is good about the weekly, and then we'll get into our caution and our trade thesis for the week. So on the weekly, we do have this confirmed divergence on this candle that we formed. This was a very strong bullish candle that we formed about 3 weeks ago. And that took us to the all-time high of 123, 231, right about this level. Okay. So, but we got to this level a little shy of our cup and handle target, which is at 125. Okay. 123 and 125, you're there about in terms of Bitcoin's price action. I would have loved to see 125 being hit. That'll give me a stronger confirmation as to whether we have achieved our goal on the cup and handle pattern we spotted. But that's still on the cards. We could, but we need to break certain levels first. The good news on Bitcoin is this bullish candle, okay, is still holding up price, even though we have a shooting star rejection candle last week. Now, this week's closing would give us a more better view where we going coming this week. We still got at least a good 12 hours to complete this candle. Um, Looking at it from this perspective, one would say, okay, it's a battle between bulls and bears because, again, bulls have not been able to close above the opening of last week's candle. Neither has bears been also able to this week been able to hold the closing from last week's closing. So this is a very contentious battle between bears and bulls from a weekly perspective. Trend wise, trend is still up. Okay, could the bulls win this battle? I'm yet to see who wins this battle between bulls and bears. Looking at this weekly setup. Now, on the daily is probably where we can get some ideas as to what we want to do, whether we want to position for a long or want to position for a quick reversal. We seem to be getting a good support of the 21 or 20 period moving average into this support block. Okay, so this support block that I have here, this blue line that you see here, right above here, it's a support line. Every time price dips below this blue line, it's absorbed. Every time it dips, it's absorbed. Every time it dips, it's absorbed. The question is, I'm looking at the volume that sells. Okay, these are huge sell volume bars, but it's just constantly being absorbed, more like an accumulation zone, in my opinion. As huge sales are being gradually absorbed, huge sales are being absorbed. Big institutions don't buy huge to move the price, and they might be accumulating. It could also be retailers excited, with price action all the way to intended target of about 145, 135, even 200K, as some have projected. So I see this price action here as absorption. Okay, there's a lot of selling happening. The other question I ask myself is, who is selling? Is it retailers selling or the big players selling and retailers picking it up? And the volume here is probably giving me a clue, but it's hard to really um, decide who is doing the buying and absorption. It could be both retailers and big players. But all I can tell you is that this is a strong support base on the daily chart. Um, and if we should be able to break through even this support, this block here is still waiting for us. The 112 will be the target. If this should break below the 21 period average, I would expect a support at this level before if there'll be any further breakdown. Um, so my trade thesis for this week, as we can see, this price action, all we can all see, this is sideways. All right, this is a sideways price action. All from here to here is all price action sideways. I can really trade when things are in sideways moment. It's pretty risky. Yeah, it's pretty risky because you don't know whether we're going to be able to break above this line that I put here. A candle open and close above this level would confirm a continuation for a wave 5. But until we break above this level, open and close candles should be above this level, right above this level. Okay, if we get a candle open and close above here, you take a long. Okay, but for now, we stuck between this consolidation zone where price gets up to this level, it pushes back down. When it gets back into this block below this blue line, it gets back in. So again, it's a very difficult range trade, and that's my analysis on BTC sideways until we get a breakout. And if we do get a breakout, of course, yes, we have a higher target beginning with the 124 cup and handle target. And then obviously we have a high also on the weekly target of 131. But should we break down out of this consolidation zone, I'm expecting a strong support somewhere around 112 zone. So that's my trade teasers on Bitcoin. Like I said, it's very difficult to um, call a decision when things are in sideways price action. Yes, so whilst we're still on the daily chart, there are a few things I also want to note on this chart here. And this is this candle that we formed here, this July 15th candle. And now we have formed another one July 25th, kind of 10 days apart, interestingly. And it's all within still this consolidation zone. The one thing that I do know of these two candles that I'm talking about is when we got this candle, did we come below the wake or the closing of this candle at some point? And this candle did. So once we get these huge volumes bars with red candles selling, um, I do expect that potentially, all right, this is not set in stone, as this candle that we formed here is actually a reversal candle. And these things don't work out perfectly. But whenever we get these kind of patterns, one of the things from my toolbox is that we potentially may be coming below the low of this candle, which is about 115. Okay, um, just as we did here. Okay, so we came below the low of here was 115,743, and we came below that low to a low of 114,813. I would expect us to come below the low of this candle at some point, possibly, unless we do get a breakout. If we do get a breakout, you can forget this. But if we don't get a breakout of this resistance zone here at a 120,000 level, then I expect us to come below the low of this 114 and probably find support somewhere around 113 to about 112. So that's my bearish case scenario. And once we get to this support, we'll see the price action and determine what we'll take next. So there's a lot of other cautious signals on Bitcoin in terms of looking at our indicators. So if you look at your RSI, this is your RSI high that gave you the shooting star on July 14th or 15th, thereabout, right? So ever since we hit that high, RSI has just been coming down. Let me zoom up on RSI so we can see. So RSI has just been coming down, coming down, coming down. And this move here was an RSI divergence. This July 22nd, we made a high greater than the previous high here, but RSI gave us a divergence here. So it's not looking all happiness on Bitcoin as I'm looking at it. This is the July 22nd, okay? And if you look at the July 22nd and the RSI that we printed is what I'm talking about, right? So we came down, found support, pushed higher, but then RSI couldn't even get anywhere. And now we have pushed a little bit more lower, and RSI is come to the midline, you know. So the divergences are there's I think a weekly divergence as well on the RSI. This was our previous high RSI, and this is a higher high RSI that took us all the way up to 123. So right here is your also weekly divergence in play. So with these indicators giving us a warning signal, MACD, same problem with MACD. In May 19th, you hit your high, and we have hit a higher high of 123 thereabout. And this is your RSI, your MACD histogram high. Here is also showing another divergence on MACD. So that's another caution here also on Bitcoin in terms of the higher time frame. But the trend is intact. We haven't broken below any of our major trend lines on the daily, on the weekly, and then on the monthly. So are we getting exhausted from the rally? Potentially. And I would say that trade with some tight stops, especially if you're going to go short. Maybe you want to make sure that you don't want a candle open and close above 120. And if you're long, you're trying to pick your entries somewhere within this block. Okay, somewhere between 112 and about, let's say, 115, potentially 114, thereabout. This is where you want to pick up your entries until we get a breakout. So that's my thesis on Bitcoin. Sideways, neutral, but with warning signals from the indicators, a potential pullback into the support zone. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for supporting my publications. Cheers, and I wish everyone a profitable trade this week.